Why are so many Canadians moving from Toronto to Calgary? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching, and if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and the bell to get notified every time I post a video, because I've noticed that a lot of you watching my videos are not subscribed yet. My offer still stands, by the way. If you see a property that you're interested in and you'd like to know what the value of it could be, feel free to click on the link in the description below. That will connect you right to my calendar where you can book a quick 15-minute chat with me, or feel free to just send me an email with the property address to adam@visionrealestate.ca, and I will send you back a custom video with my opinion of value on the property within 24 hours. I really wanted to do this video because this year alone, I've heard from about half a dozen different clients of mine that they are very strongly considering not buying in Toronto anymore and instead moving to Calgary, where prices are a little bit cheaper. If you're thinking about moving from Toronto to Calgary, this video is for you. Now, I'm not an expert on the Calgary marketplace, but I know someone who is. Alex Ripko is a generational realtor who really knows that market inside out and is also a friend of mine. She has a great YouTube page, which I will link in the description below, as well as an awesome Instagram account. Feel free to check her out. I just wanted to go over some questions with her about the Calgary market and how a huge influx of Torontonians is affecting their marketplace. I have now had clients tell me that they are moving away from Toronto to Calgary because the pricing here has gotten out of hand, and because they work remotely, Calgary's pricing is just so much better for them. So I wanted to get your take on this. Why do you think this is happening? What are you seeing in terms of trends on your end?
Well, first of all, when you look at Calgary as a whole, we are the fourth largest city in Canada, and we are extremely affordable in comparison to the other major cities, where our overall benchmark price is sitting around 526,000, which is cheap. Like, that is a cheap market in comparison.
That's actually less than half of the average benchmark price in Toronto, which sits at about 1.25 million right now.
And so that is what is happening. Just like you were saying, your clients are either moving to Calgary or they're actually just choosing to invest in Calgary just because they have that affordable housing and they can work remotely. We are still experiencing tight market conditions. It's just the price point in comparison is what is drawing people in.
What is happening there in terms of your market with Canadian, or sorry, I should say Torontonian buyers, or buyers from Vancouver, places where capital is a little bit more readily available to flow into your marketplace? Are they flooding the market? Are they pushing pricing up? How is that affecting your marketplace?
Well, at the beginning of the year, we saw this massive demand, I would say about January till about maybe mid-February, where we had unconditional offers, everything sold ridiculously above asking price, and it was just pure pandemonium. And I want to link that directly to people from other provinces because that is what the market was like over there. And so you brought that to our marketplace, and prices obviously surged relatively to what we did see prior to that. I think that with the Toronto and Vancouver buyers coming in, it did shake up our market, but right now it's more leveled compared to January.
From what I'm understanding, it wasn't just pricing that changed when they came over into your marketplace. It was actually buyer behavior as well. Like, they were doing things that are considered normal or common in Toronto and bringing that behavior, which is quite erratic, over to Calgary. And that was something that was new to your marketplace that you guys hadn't really seen before?
Absolutely. Yeah, we weren't seeing that huge increase in price point. And we're seeing 20, 30 offers on properties. And that was so unheard of in Calgary. And We also actually saw a bit of a shift in the sellers' behavior as well, because they also took note of what was happening in Ontario, where some agents were listing maybe significantly lower than the market value. And we are in Calgary overall, most people are listing where market value should be, or actually slightly higher, knowing that it will negotiate down. While for a certain period, we had many people undervalue, so that they would have all these multiple offers or unconditional offers and so on.
Wow,
So
so sellers actually started adopting Torontonian behavior as well.
absolutely. And what's happening now is we are seeing sellers, in my opinion, become a little bit more greedy with what is happening in the marketplace, just because they are now actually pricing their homes way above market value, thinking that because they have that demand, someone will just buy it at that price anyways. But that is not the case.
Now, quick question for you. What is your current months of inventory over there?
Current months of inventory is just below 2 months. That's overall for all product types.
Okay, and what's a normal market look like for you guys?
With
Like,
regards to months of supply,
yeah.
normally it's about 4 to 6, around there. Well, when you look at Calgary as a whole, even pre-COVID, we were actually in a recession for about 5 to 7 years, right? And so COVID actually helped to increase our marketplace, and we were in a recovery phase. And so now, in most product types, except for condos, because condos were still about 9% below the previous highs, everywhere else has recovered to the pre-recession numbers, which
So
is really
you,
great to see.
so you guys only are just getting out of a slump,
Absolutely.
whereas this is totally different from Toronto. Now, when people are looking to buy real estate, they're looking for that capital gain. They're looking for the increase in property value, not just a place to live. Now, if we're kind of looking at Calgary as an alternative to Toronto, I'm just kind of looking at it from the perspective of what is going to affect values the most. And from my perspective, correct me if I'm wrong, Toronto is more of a service-based economy, where you guys in Calgary rely very heavily on the energy sector and oil. So with that kind of, and Trudeau hasn't really exactly been great for that, but I mean, overall, there's been a ton of just, I guess, whacking with a sledgehammer to the energy sector in Alberta. So how has that kind of affected the marketplace overall, and how does the energy sector in Calgary play into real estate prices?
Yeah, so you are absolutely correct, where Calgary is very much revolved around the energy sector. If oil and gas is doing well, the entire economy of Calgary is doing well.
Mhm.
Granted, I do think we need to diversify a little bit, because we are so reliant on oil and gas. Because when we were in that recession pre-COVID, oil and gas wasn't doing too hot, so therefore we weren't doing too hot. So we need to bring in more diversification into our city. And we are seeing a little bit of that as well, just with technology coming in, but it's not at a huge pace. Okay. So when we're looking at the oil prices right now, we are expecting them to stay where they're at, if not continue to increase. And that could have just been because of inflation with the war and just so many other factors that are increasing and flooding our oil market there. With the energy sector being improved, we are seeing that increased consumer confidence. And so that does drive more people to buy in Calgary, but not just the standard home, like the $500,000 or $600,000 homes. We're seeing more confidence as well in the million plus range, because those people have cash. They're not necessarily getting a mortgage. They are ready to invest, knowing that things are progressing as well.
That's very interesting. So when when I guess you have a shift politically, that affects your real estate market a lot more than it does ours, in a sense, because if we can get proponents politically of the energy sector moving that forward in Canada, I know there's a lot of cross-provincial politics that go into that. But if there is a change federally around 2025, is that anticipated on your end to be something that would help the Calgary real estate market?
Yeah, I mean, it's truly hard to dive right into it to see how it actually will affect us. But I think when we see the energy sector improving, we do see more higher paying jobs, which then just again drives up that consumer confidence, but also allows people to have the money to buy as well.
That's so interesting. And in terms of just interest rates, of course, everything revolves around interest rates. How have you seen interest rates increasing affecting the Calgary market?
I am seeing some buyer concern. They, of course, are frustrated with what is happening and they don't know if it's the right time to buy or not because of the interest rates. When you look at it, we are still at a very affordable interest rate compared to historical data. I do suspect that buyers will be a little bit more cautious, but they do need to buy to be able to secure a lower interest rate now versus holding off, and the next thing you know, it will really impact them. There was actually a mortgage broker who I work with quite often, and she actually did a really great job at breaking down what the increases actually meant dollarized. And so I think many buyers need to shift their mentality and not just say, okay, it's going up by whatever percentage, that percentage into number of dollars per month is what is really important, because can you afford that $50 per month per $100,000 borrowed? Does that make sense for your lifestyle or not? Versus, oh my gosh, it's now at this percentage, I can't handle it.
I'm wondering, are headlines about real estate similar in Calgary to Toronto? Because, you know, in Toronto, it can be a bit of a disaster zone in terms of real estate news. Are people more happy that you guys have come out of the slump, or and that prices are going up, or are they, you know, kind of, you know, screaming bloody murder about affordability like we have here in Toronto?
I find that it's very similar to what you're experiencing. I find that the media it's fear mongering. They want to sell the paper. They want to get people to read it. So a lot of the articles are about interest rates increasing and how that's going to affect affordability, prices increasing, and so on. Not necessarily talking about how our market is actually progressing and improving overall.
So are they kind of pointing out that affordability is not good in Calgary, when here in Toronto we look at Calgary and we go, oh, that's really affordable, you know? So what are you guys saying over there amongst yourselves?
Well, I think when you look at the average Calgarian, for example, we're so used to our marketplace being pretty much a buyer's market for the longest time. So now that prices have shifted and we are seeing sellers market conditions throughout, the news is taking that into account, and they are essentially blaming Toronto and Vancouver and their people for coming here and changing our marketplace. They're also blaming realtors for changing it. It's a little hectic, but again, you don't believe everything you read.
Wow.
That's all I can say about it.
I thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, because moving to Calgary from Toronto has been something that I've heard a lot of people talking about. And I definitely wanted to get the scoop from an expert like yourself in Calgary, who is boots on the ground and understands that marketplace. So thanks so much for taking the time. And yeah, we'll do this again soon. Thanks for watching. I really hope you found this content valuable if you are considering a move to Calgary from Toronto, and we will see you next time.